I was looking forward to the Dodgers against the Yankees in the World Series. I was looking forward to the Dodgers losing the third consecutive World Series, but at least getting there. I was looking forward to the crown returning to the Bronx, New York. And now, that ain't gonna happen. As Will Smith said, imitate Muhammad Ali in the movie Ali. All we can do is sit around, wonder, and imagine. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame that one simple move like that, and I'm not trying to say literally it's simple, because I understand Greinke acquiring Greinke's going to have to give us some prospects. I get all of that. But you know something, New York Yankees? It ain't like you just won the World Series a couple of years ago. You haven't won the World Series since 2009. That was somewhat tainted by the aftermath of the fallout involving Alex Rodriguez. The reality is that when you look at Major League Baseball, when you look at the New York Yankees and the expectation that comes with them, even though the Yankees have been more prudent and efficient in how they spend money, the bottom line is, if you are the New York Yankees, you know something? You should have made sure a pitcher like Greinke didn't end up with the Astros. Knowing good and damn well you could probably meet them in the ALCS again. You should have known better. And it's a travesty that you did it. You could point to the Mets. I watched DeGrom pitch a little bit last night. God, I wish the Yankees had him. Ain't gonna be. Couldn't even get Noah Syndergaard. Not sure we wanted Zach Wheeler or Steven Matz. But something would have been nice. Something. Nothing on the pitching front. Absolutely nothing. We have the pieces we need right here. What the hell is Brian Cashman talking about? What the hell is he talking about? I try so hard not to be depressed.
Chargers don't move off their offer of about $10 million per.
To double his salary, give him $10 million for this year. He doesn't want that.
They're asking for about $13 million per year, $3 million over the LA's ask.
Look, timing and leverage is not on his side.
Bottom line is the Chargers aren't going to get permission for Bilbo, his representative, to go get a trade. They want to control the situation.
I think he's not on that football team before the regular season starts.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Stephen A. Smith Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line.
We are back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show. Michael Leeds. We are back here in the Stephen A. Smith Show. Michael Leeds, Elle, Duncan in for Stephen A. today, folks. If you missed any of the show, be sure to go check it out on demand in the Stephen A. Smith podcast, brought to you by Capital One. Capital One is reimagining banking, offering accounts with no fees or minimums that can be opened in 5 minutes. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Capital One, NA member FDIC. All right, Elle, so we had some football finally last night.
That's what you want to call it.
It was played on a field, and it looked like football. Joining us now is our ESPN football analyst, Lou Riddick. And, you know, Lou, I'm of those sports fans, and I know I'm probably in a small minority. I don't give a damn about the preseason games. I just want the official kickoff to the regular season. I understand that there is a need for them from a personnel standpoint. However, do you think these bad preseason games have any negative impact on the image of the league whatsoever?
No, not really. I think it just gives – look, I think everybody wants something to be mad about. Everybody wants something to complain about, and the preseason games give people something to complain about when it comes to the NFL in regards to them being worthless, and they're not really, indicative of how teams are going to look during the regular season, and I get all that, but there is a process that's still taking place for the teams themselves as far as trying to look at guys that I call the final 14 roster spots on a 53-man roster, and those guys play a lot in the preseason. Those are guys now when they have to play during the regular season after they make your football team and they're no good, then all of a sudden people care about those guys. Well, personnel departments have to evaluate them at this point in time. That's really where teams are are trying to strengthen and fortify their roster. So not only are they evaluating their own guys, they're looking at other teams' players in real live game action too, Mike. And that's really where the value is overall. Now, I understand for the consumer, they don't care about that. They don't really want to know about all that until, like I said, until those guys have to get on the field and play during October. Then they care about it. So it still serves a purpose. I get that the games can be sloppy. I get that they can be maybe a little bit boring because the quality of the play goes down. But it's a necessary part of it. Do we need 4 weeks of it anymore? That's debatable. I get that. I'm kind of swaying to the side of maybe we don't need it to be that long anymore, but it's still a necessary evil.
NFL analyst, Louis Riddick, joining us here on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Listen, I am a Broncos fan, so it was my team playing in that slot fest we saw yesterday, and I don't want to have an overreaction to what we saw from Drew Lock, but sell the team, right, Lou?
Yeah, sure. Sell the team.
Louis,
Sell the team, trade Drew, he's a bust, all that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. No, he
right.
Those first game jitters are real. And for him, you can clearly see it, and we talked about this already, Elle. I mean, the clean pocket, open receiver, obvious open window throws that he should have made, and he had like 4 of them. He missed them, and he didn't miss them, by a little bit. He missed them by a lot. And so that was disconcerting. As I was sitting there watching it, and I was sitting there trying to write down stuff I wanted to talk about last night for SportsCenter, I'm going, man, there's one. Oh, there's 2. Oh, there's another one. So he needs to improve that. He needs to improve that quickly, and I think Vic Fangio alluded to that. Now, some of the other stuff as far as him not being able to get the ball out of his hand fast enough and maybe getting tripped up a little bit with what he was seeing, processing it and getting the ball out of his hand, that'll come with time. Look, he's so young, and he's playing in an offense that's so different than what he was used to at Missouri. You got to give him some time, but we know we're in a microwave society, and we know that football is the ultimate pressure cooker as far as you better deliver now. Otherwise, we're going to put the pressure on you to sell the team, trade players. I get it, but just have a little bit more patience. But, I wish he would have looked a little bit better, too.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, you're right, because we certainly didn't exhibit any patience, in the Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Chad Kelly.
Yep.
You're fine. Yep. Go ahead, Eves.
No, I'm just saying, but look, I get it because, look, the track record for John, that being John Elway out there, is not good. They have missed badly, other than Peyton Manning, which isn't real hard to figure out that he was pretty good. I get it. People are on John, man. They want him to deliver that next guy that carries them for the next 10 to 15 years playing that position, and he hasn't done it. I get it. There's so much that goes into it, though. It's not just the evaluation. It's the development, utilization. All that stuff goes into it. I know these are a lot of words I talk about all the time, and I know that all you care about is, look, just get me a quarterback. Don't talk to me about all this nonsense. Just give me a quarterback. I get it. And look, Drew, there's a lot of pressure on him, whether or not they're going to say that there's not because they got Joe Flacco, whatever. Joe Flacco's not the future. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if he's the present. Drew needs to develop, and he needs to develop now. So I feel your sense of urgency. I agree with you.
Well, he's President Lee, the only thing he got.
Yeah. Louis Riddick joining us here, Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and also ESPN News. Stephen A., are the Chargers looking at a potential Le'Veon Bell situation with Melvin Gordon?
It's possible, although it's not going to be something that drags on for an entire year. They're not going to let it play out like that. If they can't get Melvin to come in or sign to a new contract, they're going to trade him. I mean, he has value on the open market. Clearly, they have adopted a pay-as-you-go strategy. Let's just take it year-by-year strategy. They don't want to invest in him long-term to the degree that he wants them to. And look, running backs are as smart as ever when it comes to understanding what their role is for a football team, while at the same time understanding how front offices look at them. So they're trying to put the pressure on front offices to take care of them quicker, even as the CBA is set up right now for them to basically get screwed. And that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate as far as them not being able to renegotiate their contracts faster. And they're having to hold out, and that's the only leverage that they have. But I think in this situation, you're going to see Melvin on a new football team, and he maybe winds up going to a football team that is a contender as well. Houston could use him. Indianapolis could use him. Jacksonville could use him. And those are good football teams right there where he'd be stepping into a pretty darn good situation. So I hope that's what winds up happening if they can't reach a long-term contract there, and I just don't see that happening. I think they have kind of drawn a line in the sand based on what their offers have been so far, and I don't think it's going to. They're not going to come anywhere close to the $13.5–14 million per year threshold that he's looking for. It's just not going to happen.
We are on the line right now with our NFL analyst, Louis Riddick. Give me a storyline at training camp that no one's paying attention to, Lou, that you are particularly excited about.
Well, I think people may be paying attention to this, but I think people aren't really respecting it. And I tweeted about this the other day. And no one, if you look at Mitch Trubisky's year last year, and you know how I love, Elle, you love when I call him Maserati. I know you do. And I know you feel it too. I know you feel it coming. Mm-hmm. He is the guy who right now no one wants to believe that he can actually take that second-year jump in this system and really have this offense close the gap as far as being on par with their defense and truly be a title contender. I think that's going to happen. I think Matt has him right where he wants him as far as now he doesn't have to teach him the offense. Now he can kind of like find out what his limits are as far as how good can I be in this offense. And I think they now have some pieces, especially at running back up there, to where from an offensive perspective, like every time the Bears were on TV last year, we just wanted to watch Khalil Mack just wreck quarterbacks, right? And we wanted to watch Eddie Jackson pick off passes. That's all we cared about. This year, I think you're going to see a very dynamic set of running backs up there, highlighted by their rookie runner, David Montgomery from Iowa State. And I think, remember this name too. Remember the name Anthony Miller, second-year wide receiver from Memphis State, who plays primarily in the slot up there. They love this guy. And I think he is going to absolutely go off and be their number one target up there and probably double, maybe even triple his output from last year where he had about 30 catches. He's going to be a highlight reel. Matt Nagy loves him. He loves how this offense is coming together. Watch out for Mitch Trubisky. Just watch out for him this year.
By the way, Eves, I don't have a problem with Lou calling him Maserati Mitch so much that I feel no, it's a small sample size. So it's a Mini Cooper style sample size. And right now his body style is more Mitsubishi. And that's all I'm saying at this point. Okay. Maybe he'll be a McLaren one day. But right now, he's a Mazda. What?
He might be. Look. But Elle, he threw for over 3,000 yards. Had over 65% completion percentage, had a 90-plus quarterback. I mean, he had a pretty good year last year.
You know what it really is, Louis? Here's what it really is. Elle wants him to play for the Broncos. That's really what the issue is. If he played for the Broncos, she'd be out there with the Maserati Mitch.
No.
Hey, if Chicago called Denver, if Chicago called you and said, we'll trade Mitch for Drew Lock straight up, would you do it?
Well, obviously. And Chicago would be insane.
Mitch for Joe Flacco would, see then.
Yes.
Get on board.
Listen, you know what, though? At this point, Lou, I would take Moped Mitch, okay? Because that's where we're at. So, no, that's not That's not a good comparison.
You have no patience right now for Drew Lock's development.
No, she got
zero. I'm done.
Zero. Louis, before we let you go, I know you get to do you join, of course, NFL Live Sports and all day long. I know you're busy. Lamar Jackson, what is the reasonable expectation for his growth this year?
I'm gonna make it a situational expectation, all right? And by that I mean the quadrants on the football field where you throw the football. I want to see this. I want to see Lamar become much more proficient throwing the ball plus 10, plus 15 yards outside the numbers. That's what I want to see. If he can attack that area of the field with some consistency, and not just be the guy who throws the football between the numbers 8 to 10 yards all the time and has to always benefit off the play action on first and second down. To where what I'm saying is I can dice you up on third down and hit you with big plays down the field because now we have got weapons. We drafted speed. We drafted size. We have weapons at wide receiver, tight end, running back. If he can do that, Mike, I think that the sky's the limit for this kid. I think you could see him become a 60% thrower, a 90-plus quarterback rating guy, a guy who throws 20-plus, 25 touchdowns, keeps his interceptions down, out of the double-digit range or right around the double-digit range, say 25 and 10. I think you would take that as very, very, very reasonable growth from year one to year two. And if he can then just work on it from there and just utilize all the weapons that they put around him, they've done a good job now. They've done a really good job of surrounding him with playmakers, then Lamar will be everything everybody in Baltimore wants him to be.
Yeah, if he can get those throws a little more accurate and being able to dump them down, that just makes his running game even more effective, even though he said this year he's not going to run as much as he did last year, entering his second year as a starter. Louis Riddick, appreciate the time as always, man.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, folks, ESPN Radio presented by Progressive Insurance, protecting commercial vehicles and offering specialized coverages designed to protect small businesses. More at progressivecommercial.com. Elle, Duncan, Michael Lee's in for Stephen A. Smith here, ESPN, ESPN app, and, of course, ESPN News.
Need game tickets? Find your seats at Vivid Seats.